Welcome to Thriving Beyond Borders. My name is Namdi and I'm founder of the African American Collective. Whenever I talk about Thriving Beyond Borders, it's a lot of it is from the economic perspective or doing well professionally. But today I want to go a little deeper, um, than just the we're doing okay because that's almost always the focus when we talk about thriving. It's how do I go from surviving to doing okay to doing well to, where I can take care of myself and cater to the people that I love, take care of folks back home, and that's we've made it for most, immigrants, right? Uh, but it's deeper than that, and it should be more than that. It should be more than just that's just one level of surviving, and it's we want to move from just surviving to thriving to, being active contributors to the ecosystem that we find ourselves in today. That's really what this is about. So we're going a little deeper today, and what thriving means is it's about having a voice. Okay, having a voice, in the systems and decisions that shape our lives, right? This is super important. That's the whole mission around the conference I talked about happening on Saturday. It's how do we make sure that our voices are included in the conversations when it comes to policy and how that shapes our experience as immigrants here in the United States. All right, so many of us, many African immigrants, we are active contributors in the societies, right? We're part of, the economic workforce. We are professionals. We are in, we are everywhere. We're involved. We're involved in churches. We're part of working and building and volunteering. But we are highly and highly underrepresented in policy discussions, right? Especially when you compare it to other immigrant groups, we are highly underrepresented. Now, Atlanta is doing well, better than most states in terms of we have a couple of representatives who are of African descent, and maybe some office holders here and there. It's still very it's still very sparse. But at least there's some representation here in Atlanta. But it's not the same across the country, and that's crazy if you think about it because of how much we contribute to the economy, how much we contribute to the success, how much involved we are, our sheer numbers, right? And so we are this big contributing group, but highly underrepresented when it comes to decision making, when it comes to policy, right? Policy discussions, things that affect immigration, for example. Our voices are not necessarily being heard in those conversations, right? Policies around education. A lot of us come here to go to school. Education is a key part of the immigrant experience, right? One of the reasons why many people have moved from their home countries to these places for the educational component for their kids, the opportunities to go to better schools and be exposed to better opportunity. But yet we're not necessarily part of the conversations that define or chart the course for advancement in the educational systems here, even though we're active in paying taxes and building the systems. How much of our voices in policy around business, community welfare, all of those things, we're present but we're not heard, right? We were present, but we're not heard. Our voices are not loud enough. They're not represented enough, right? I saw this quote as I prepared for this session, and it says, "When you are not at the table, you're often on the menu," right? So if you're not at the table as somebody who is part of the feasts or the feasters, you are probably on the menu being feasted upon. And so it's time to leave the the menu and get to being part of the table where the conversations and decisions are being made. Right? Representation goes beyond politics. It's about participation. It's about civic participation. It's about leadership. Right? It's not just about the politics, and a lot of us don't want to meddle in the politics because again of where a lot of us come from and the political ecosystem back in Africa, most African countries is a mess. And most decent people do not want to dabble into politics, right? From me coming from Nigeria, and most African countries have chaotic political ecosystems, if I'm going to say that kindly. And you see a lot of people abstain; they don't want to get involved because the perception is it's messy, it's crazy, it's violent, it's all of the things that many people who are decent people don't want to associate with. But then we carry that mindset and then we come to a system like the one we're in. And now we think, hey, I still want to abstain from it because of what it looks like. But that is one of the beautiful things about, one of the things that makes this space, this country great is our voices matter, right? Our voices matter. We can actually be part of affecting the system if we can organize, if we can, if we can ensure representation, then we can actually make a difference. That's the beautiful thing about this country. And that's why a lot of us came to this place. That's why we chose this place as, a place to call home. And so I want to really emphasize that your voice, our voice matters, right? It is super important. It is super important. It affects everything. Again, I talked about the schools, schooling, education, immigration, uh, um, business policy, all of these things. These are decisions, these are policy decisions that if we don't contribute to, they still affect us. They still impact us. They still impact our ability to function, our ability to earn a living, our ability to live and, you know, uh, um, explore and really live out the American dream that we came here to pursue. Right? And so it's important that we are not just on the menu, we are on the table, right? It's important. Our voices matter. And why do I say so? Number one, representation and visibility, right? Representation and visibility. Our stories, our unique, our challenges, our successes, they help, shape fair policies. One thing I've noticed is there's a lot of people, and again, whether you lean left or right, blue or red, whatever color you are, um, immigration is a big conversation. And a lot of the people who are advocates, right, for, in this space, not all of them have any real first-hand experience being immigrants or with immigrants, right? Not a lot of them can truly speak to the journey of an immigrant. Not a lot of them can speak to the pain, to the transition, to the challenges, to the experiences, to the victories that we experience as immigrants. And yes, while it's good that people have embraced us and embraced our stories, and you know, it still doesn't it's still there's still a gap. There's still a clear gap in terms of uh, um, you it's our stories will carry more weight than anybody else speaking out for us. When it's coming from this is I'm pushing for this because I've lived it. Right? I am pushing for this legislation, this piece of legislation, this policy, I'm pushing for it because it's something that it's been drawn from. People believe you because it's no longer just politics for you. It's no longer just an act. It's real life. It's lived experiences. And so our stories carry power. Right. So that's why again when we talk about representation and visibility, it's super important that we are part of the conversation. Right. When policymakers hear authentic immigrant experiences, they legislate more effectively. That is the truth, right? So let's be part of making sure our stories are heard, our voices, our experiences are shared. Number two reason why our voices matter is influence and advocacy, right? Policy isn't just made in government. It is shaped in communities, it's shaped in schools, it's shaped in workplaces. That is that is where the conversations really happen, right? The government is the infrastructure per se to bring it to life or to make it happen, but it's really about what's happening in the communities, right? And drawing up support for certain issues happens at the community level. It happens in schools. It happens in the place of work, right? And so we have to be intentional about making sure our voices are heard in these spaces, right? It's when we talk about things around, we've had this whole brouhaha this year around. diversity, equity, inclusivity, policy and conversations, all of that, and companies scrapping or rebranding, redefining, what that looks like for them. Um, you know, if we are not for if we don't lend our voice to the impact of these policies, these things will go away or these things will change um, without contributions from our side, or without how it affects us being brought into consideration. And so if anything, if anything is going to shift or remain the same or adjust around these things, then we have to make sure that we are in the conversation. If not, we're not going to be a factor in the decisions, if I'm making sense. Right. So it's the influence, it's an advocacy. The other part, the other reason why our voice matters is in legacy and future generations. If we don't speak now, our children will grow up navigating systems we never try to improve. I'm a parent. I have three beautiful daughters, who are growing up, who are curious, who are, you know, beautiful, and I want them to live in a country that is free, that is fair, where they have opportunity better than their father did, right? They are first generation Americans. They are not, you know, I want it to be a better country for them, right? It's my duty to help build that. It's my duty to help shape that future, right? We have to think beyond ourselves. Advocacy ensures that future immigrants inherit a more equitable society. One of the things that we talk about here at the African American Collective, it's about how our goal is to ensure that no one has to start from scratch. We want to take our journey and our experiences and build a better situation for people who are coming after us. One way we can do that is by getting involved in advocacy, getting involved in policy making, getting involved, making sure we are represented. It's super powerful, it's super important. These are the core of what we do at the African American Collective. Right. And so I really want to make this call. Everybody needs to lend their voice. Everybody needs to get off, your couch and jump in, right? Even if you're not trying to get involved in politics, or there are other ways to get involved, right? There are other ways to get involved, and I'll get to that in a little bit. And our voice also matters because there's power in unity, right? There's power in unity. When we speak in one voice, it can spark change. Our collective voices together is powerful. We can spark change and we can sustain change when we speak in one accord. Community amplifies advocacy, right? And that's why we are calling all of our people. If you're in Atlanta, please come out, and be a part of this. We have programming in place and we have plans that's coming up to continue to drive this conversation. All right. So one voice can spark change. One voice can spark change, and our collective voices can sustain change. There's power in unity. There's power in unity. Don't just sit by the side, just sit on the couch and be okay with doing your job, coming back home, and you're fine. Um, it's more than that at this stage. All right. So, how do we get involved? What are some practical ways? If that's a question you're asking, well, I have a few answers. One, attend civic meetings, right? Town halls in your city, other civic meetings within your city and your council and your county. Start looking, go to the county website, look for when those meetings happen, when those conversations, because again, things that are going to affect that area, school board meetings, all of those things, attend them, show up, right? Number two, support organizations like African American Collective, right? There are other organizations that are creating spaces for, immigrant dialogue. Get plugged in those organizations and immerse yourself in what they're doing, right? Again, one place to start to be showing up for our event this Saturday. The advocacy conference is going to be game changing. We have elected officials who are coming. We have leaders in the advocacy space who are going to be there. It's going to be a lot of incredible conversations being had, and you definitely want to ensure that your voice is heard. Right? Another way to get involved is volunteer with advocacy groups, right? Mentorship programs, voter engagement drives. Get involved, volunteer. That's how you lend your voice to what's going on. Um, Another practical way is again leverage your professional expertise, whether you're in healthcare, whether you're in tech, um, leverage your expertise to inform policy recommendations. When you show up for this, these meetings, these events, Bring your expertise to the table. Bring your, again, don't be quiet. Don't just sit by the side. Make sure you are contributing to the conversations. And again, join upcoming conversations. Come for the conference. This session, I've tweaked the topic so that I can really spend time and highlight the importance of what we have coming up this Saturday, 10 a.m. Eastern time. If you're not in Atlanta, you can join virtually. But this is something, it's more than just a conference. It's not about politics. It's about participation. It's about participation. It's about representation. It's about, us finding our voice. It's about empowerment, right? It's super important. Again, I've talked about it. We have an incredible lineup of speakers who are going to be showing up and being a part of the conversation. So let's make sure that we are signing up for this. Let's make sure that we are involved. Go on our LinkedIn page or go on our Instagram, African Gun Collective, and pull the details, right? You see how to sign up, all of that. It's going to be incredible. Um, Again, I have so much to say, but I have to wrap up because of time. But please, we can't just stand by the sidelines anymore. We can't just be, we can't just watch things happen. We have to get involved. It's time for us to be the change you want to see, right? And I know it sounds very cliche, but it's the truth and it's a fact and it's relevant today more than it has ever been. All right, get involved. I want to see you at the conference. Remember, Thriving Beyond Borders is not about just success, it's about significance. It's about shaping the spaces that we live in. All right, so join us this Saturday, October 25th at the AIM Advocacy Conference, Advocacy and Policy Conference. Let's continue this conversation in depth. Come to make connections. There's going to be meaningful connections being made. Come with a heart to learn. Um, Come and find your voice, right? Come and find your voice in the advocacy space, right? Again, the link to register is going to be, I'm going to have them added to the description, but it's all of our media spaces. Please get connected, get connected. If there's any issue you feel like we need to be more vocal about, come and tell us. Come and speak up. Come and speak up. Our story matters. Our presence matters, but our participation, that's where true power begins. All right. Thank you so much again. My name is Nabi. I will see you again, same time, Thursday next week by 11 a.m. Started a little late today because, again, I have quite a bit going on as I prepare for the conference on Saturday, but I had to come out to do this one. So please, I'd love to see you on Saturday. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Let's I truly believe we can make a difference. We can do something special, but it starts with stepping out. All right. Thank you all so much. God bless you, and I will talk to you again soon.